bloody light. So yeah, we have reached this bit now, and this is where you're getting a lot of the skulls and the more gruesome details. I mean, that's just something on its own, isn't it? Yeah, jaw bones and a lot of thigh bones. So yeah, let me. There's a lot here too. I mean, these are just all primarily skulls. Gives you an idea of just how many people are down here. But yeah, let me explain a little bit more about this place. So, we are in one of the ossuaries. As you can see here, people have arranged the bones and the skulls. These are primarily femurs, because they're the densest bones in the body, so they lasted a lot longer. Now, how did there come to be so many skeletal remains down here in the quarries to become the catacombs? So in 1780, quite a tragedy took place. After months and months of heavy rain, one of Paris's main cemeteries became so saturated that around the edge of the cemetery were lots of market buildings, and one day the cellar walls down below the merchants' buildings collapsed, and all of the remains from that graveyard spilled into the merchants' markets. Now, why did that come to be? Well, that was through a system of burial that had been taking place for 500 years before. So it started around 500 years before that, and what they would do, all of the cemeteries in the city started with your normal single graves, and they became full very quick. After that, they decided, okay, we're going to make mass burial pits. So what they would do is each graveyard would have around 20 to 30 pits. And what they would do is they would dig one pit and they would fill it full of 1,500 bodies. Now the pit would remain open until it had reached its quota, and that could take anything up to a year and a half. Now once they had completed that quota, they would cover it over. They would open the next pit, do it again. And this went round, and they kept doing it and but once they ran out of pits, they'd open the first pit again. They would remove the bones and put them in shacks around the cemetery, and then put more bodies in. Now it got to such an extent that they were actually saying, well, you know what, you don't need your limbs to get to heaven, because these were very Christian, very heavily Christian burials. And so they were taking the arms and legs off of the bodies so that they could increase the quota in the pits to 2,000. And that's why, over a 500-year period, they managed to amass 6 to 8 million people into these graves. And as I say, in 1780, when this spilled out, there's big outcry. There was a massive public health hazard as well. And at the time, they had started to rediscover the quarries due to that collapse I mentioned. And so it was decided that they would use the quarries to create the catacombs, the ossuaries. Yeah, so what they would do is they would find one of the air shafts coming down into the quarries. They go down into the quarry, they would build a wall around a section around the shaft to contain all of the bones, and then every night, and it took them a long time, every night you would have transport of bones, taking them from the cemeteries to an open mine shaft, and they would tip them in. Being heavily Christian though, these were always accompanied by monks. But yes, I think we've spent enough time in this place now, so we're going to move on. So let's go.